Please don't hear any of this, Brad.
And Dad's like, I got the fuck out of there. I was like, oh man, you didn't partake?
Do you fear death?
Oh, one of the greatest lines of all time.
I could have chopped it. I could have chopped it.
Trumpinator 2020.
Making me 30 sides of red sauce.
Listened to so much. Are you
That needs two, motherfucker.
Episode 83. Welcome back, lady.
Hey!
Third time.
Yes, nice to be here.
Well, since I saw you last, or since you were on last, obviously had Dave on, which
Yes.
did not disappoint.
No.
Like,
I knew it wouldn't.
I knew it wouldn't either, but I didn't realize to what level.
To what he's got the best stories. He's
It's
interesting.
not just about the story; it's the personality. It's the way he tells them.
Yes.
He's just a one of a kind.
He really is.
We love you, Dave.
We do love you, Dave.
And
So
hope to be
nice.
seeing a lot more. And he's got buddies of his that have asked about coming on the podcast. I'm like, if they're a friend of yours,
Yes.
they'll do well.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
you got a whole treasure
gosh.
trove of people.
I
down
really
there.
do. And Dave's great. You know, like, Dave works on his jokes around the store.
Oh yeah,
Like, there's never a dull moment.
yeah,
Not with Dave there, anyways. You
Yeah.
can't have a bad day working with Dave.
yeah. I get that. He's always jamming, man.
Yeah, he is. He's got the best music.
He's that damn dog.
You know, he's sweet. He's sweet.
So he said he was working on writing his sitcom.
Yeah, that's what he came
Or at
in and
least
told
the
me the
pilot.
other day.
I'm excited to read this. That's gonna be so fun.
I know. I can't wait. He's got a gold mine up there.
Oh yeah, I could tell.
You know, like, if he can get it out, like, if he can put it out there,
Mhm.
oh yeah, it'll be a hit.
Yeah, you seem a lot more relaxed this time than you were the first time.
I am a lot more relaxed this time.
I'll never forget. You looked so damn nervous.
I was sitting there like this the whole time. I think I was sweating too.
Now I'd like to have you and Dave and Gabby on sometime.
Oh my
I think that'd be a
gosh.
holler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me, Dave, and Gabby. Yeah, there's a reason that they don't let more than one of us work at a
Oh,
time.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I actually saw Amanda Landers at Harp just a minute ago. She said
Oh,
to tell you
yeah.
hello.
She tell you to call me apple butter bitch.
What's this about?
I had so we used to sell apple butter at the store, and I had a lady.
She did tell me, but I want you to tell the story.
Okay, so I had a lady come in, and she's always just one of my least favorite customers, if I'm being real honest. So she comes in with her dog on a leash in one hand, and it's some little chihuahua, just nasty looking, whatever. So she comes in and she gets a jar of apple butter. She pays for it, and in the hand that she's holding the leash, she puts her jar of apple butter in. She walks out to her car, the dog jerks the leash, and she drops the apple butter, and then comes back in and demands that I either give her another one or refund her money. No. You paid for
That's
it,
not how
walked
that
out of the
works.
store, like that's your property now. I
Yeah.
don't, dog knocked it out of your hand, that's not my problem. So yeah, she's apple butter bitch.
I got you. I didn't get the full story, but no, you had mentioned something about. I think we talked about it last time, but how you're kind of a therapist, or more like a priest in a
Oh
confession
my God.
booth.
Yeah, confessional.
I was down there talking to you the other day, and people just apparently just confess
They do.
some of the craziest shit.
Yes. And there's that one that I can't talk about on here.
Fair? Not yet.
But yeah, I know everybody's business whether I want to or
Sure.
not. And I'm not really judging people, but the stories that I hear are absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm afraid that they'll see this, so I'm not telling your stories. But
Just don't use names. No names.
no names.
These are all fictional.
Oh my
They're all works
gosh.
of fiction.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. We just have an array of characters out here.
What is it about a person that just shares wild shit to strangers?
I don't know. A lot of people tell me that I just have like one of those demeanors, like where you can just talk to, like easy to talk to. And so they say that's why it happens to me. But we joke at the store that we need to put a couch along that front window.
Yeah.
So that, a therapy couch. Because really, they do. I have a free iPhone 11 Max Pro because a man used me as his therapist for like 3 days in a row, hours.
It's so interesting because, you've got to get, like, if you want to actually be a therapist, you have to go get all kinds of qualifications and all these things.
And all that.
I still don't trust them.
Right. Well, I mean, they are just people too, but...
They're just people too, but I mean, half the stuff you're learning, science changes, right? The things we told people 20 years ago, oh, we fucked the whole generation up by saying that. You know what I mean? It's like this, it's always evolving. It's just, I think people can work through their own problems if they have somebody to talk to. It's almost like half of it is just talking it out. It doesn't matter if the person's licensed or not.
That's true, but you also have to be careful who you're taking advice from.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You can tell anybody and everybody, but not everybody's going to give you good advice to go with.
That's very true.
And so I will say that I do love my therapist. I love a good therapist. It took me a long time to find one that actually that I could mesh with.
Right.
It's
personal shit. I've never felt comfortable talking to strangers.
Yeah, I had to find somebody who was close to my age.
Yeah.
Just.
If it works, that's great.
Yeah.
It helps a lot of people. I just never have found much. I can't, and maybe it's because I haven't found the right person. You know what I mean?
Right. My thing is I can vent. I can literally go in there and I can tell her everything, get it off my chest, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that it doesn't bother me occasionally, but once I trauma dump on my therapist.
Is it raining again?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know. But we need
spring.
it. I know. I'm not complaining. I hated winter.
I'm ready to start bitching about the heat again.
Yeah, me too. I'm really going to try not to bitch about the heat this summer because I've begged for it since winter started.
So you prefer heat over cold?
Absolutely. Yeah. The cold hurts.
Yeah.
And
no matter how much you put on, sometimes you just can't get warm.
Yeah,
sometimes it gets in your bones.
Once it's in your bones, you're done for.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
I have it's only happened a couple times, but I'll get these chills so bad that I'll start shaking.
Yep.
You just can't, I don't know if it's a mental thing or what, but you just can't get warm.
And it's excruciating. It hurts afterwards. But
did you always hate the cold, or is that something that as you're getting older it gets worse? Because as I've gotten older, I didn't fucking care about any kind of temperature.
No.
You didn't think about it.
No, in my early 20s, I'd walk out in the snow in flip-flops and shorts. It didn't bother me.
Yeah.
No,
but my kids are out in it the whole time.
Yeah.
It doesn't even faze them.
Oh, yeah. I had people, because even this last snow we were out in, it was a great snow to be out in.
It was a good one.
And customers have been very upset that I let my children out in those cold temperatures.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, listen, that snow wasn't wet. You had to work really hard to get wet.
And
in
also
that
mind
snow.
your own fucking business, you Karens. Jesus Christ, I get tired of people telling me how to raise my kids.
My kids aren't sick. They aren't hurt. They're fed, they're happy, they're warm.
Think about this. The way we raised kids, and I'm not saying there weren't problems with it,
right?
But at least our kids were fucking prepared for life.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't shelter them in a bubble, and then they hit 18 and go, holy shit.
Right.
What is all this?
Right.
And then just fall off the deep end.
Yep.
They're protected, then they get into the workforce. They've never had to encounter any kind of challenges, any kind of confrontation, any kind of anything. And then they want somebody to protect them from life. And that's not how...
world.
Well, that is kind of how it's been working the last few years, but...
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
because
catering to the
extremists.
loudest and weakest people.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know, not saying my grandparents' generation were the best parents, but they didn't coddle you.
Yeah,
They had tough lives growing up.
yeah.
They were
You
up
were
at-
tough for sure.
They were up before dawn getting eggs and doing cattle or whatever the
Oh,
farm
they
work.
worked hard.
They worked all day.
They worked hard. I have one of my old neighbors. He's in his 80s now. One of the hardest working men.
100%. My
Like,
neighbor James Spears, always working.
Yeah, he gets out there and chops wood. He's got this huge garden that he tends to, you know. Excuse me.
Well,
he
you
used to.
you got to stay busy when you're old.
Yeah, that's kind of what he said. You know,
Yeah.
like he's like, if I quit now, then I'm done.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what
like
James
if-
told me. The same thing. He said all the friends I've had that have died quit.
Yep.
You know, they quit doing stuff, and
Yep.
then you get no purpose, and especially if your spouse passes or and you're just by yourself. And,
Yep. And your blood's not flowing like you need it to. You know,
No.
like it just, and it takes a toll on you mentally not to do anything.
Sure.
You know, like I would imagine that they get a certain satisfaction from being that age and still being able to go out and chop wood and do the garden and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's one of those things you don't. Well, a lot of people are very health conscious and do a lot for their health, but I'm so fucking lazy. I hate exercise. I don't eat that badly. My wife makes dinner, so like she cooks healthily for the family. So like I'm not
Right.
eating that badly. I mean, this shit ain't helping anything.
no, I have a snack problem.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and working at the gas
And
station.
you're surrounded by all the best snacks.
all of them. And the problem is that I can order the ones I like.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so I've got this box of Gushers up by the front desk because, you know, I've got to have a pack of Gushers every day.
Do you?
Yes, it's an issue. My dog likes to eat Gushers.
Really? Will dogs really die if they eat chocolate? Is this true?
It depends. So, like,
I think
our
it's
milk
bullshit.
chocolate, no. But, like, actual cocoa, like the original chocolate in its purest form,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, the original chocolate, yes. But our milked down,
Yeah.
whatever
Right.
sugared version we had, no.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for them. You know, like, they'll poop it out, like their body doesn't
What is
digest
it about chocolate?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Bizarre.
It is. Dogs are so funny.
I feed him chocolate all the time. Still hadn't killed him.
I know. Yeah, my dog. My dog likes to sneak chocolate. He's a little snack thief.
Yeah, they are. Well, he's a savage. You know, he's supposed to be this inside little froofy dog, but he lives out in the country with these big Great Pyrenees, and they're running perimeter, and like he wants to be out there with them, and so he like
He's
got a
Great
picture of him the other
Pyrenees.
day eating on a deer spine. And he's got blood on his face, and it's time for a shave. It grows so fast.
Yeah,
He
we're
looks like a rat when he gets shaved.
we're gonna go take ours to get de-shed because he's short hair. Ours is short hair.
Oh, really? What do you have?
He's Australian cattle dog of some sort,
All right.
and we thought maybe Catahoula, but I'm not sure. Possibly pit bull. He's beautiful.
Yeah.
He looks like a healer, but with leopard spots on his head.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you get him?
Somebody dumped him.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, out where you're at, you probably see a lot of that, do you?
Yeah, sometimes. Occasionally, like, so whenever whoever dumped him also dumped two other ones along.
Really?
Yeah. And so they must just not have been able to take care of the dog.
Will a shelter take him if you bring him in, or do you have to like pay the shelter?
No, I'm sure if it's a dump, they would take him. I would think.
Surely you would like think that there could be a place to safely take these animals without just dumping their ass.
But we all knew immediately he wasn't going anywhere if he didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, like he's such a good dog.
Yeah.
He's a great dog.
Yeah, our oldest one's 14 or 15, and he's just not getting around very well. Which is why we got the white ones, because we know he's not gonna be around too long.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Losing a pet is, or letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And when to let go is another thing. Like, you don't want to, I mean, you don't want to give up too soon.
Right.
You know, like, but then you don't want them to be in pain or whatever, you know, so that's a tough
Well, a
thing
lot
also.
of I didn't even really know this until our last dog did it. Ramona, she passed last year, but she just went out and went away from the house and just died. I spent how many days with it? Like 2 days combing 100 acres looking for her, and I was like, nobody's gonna take this dog. Like,
Right.
something's happened.
Right.
And she wasn't 30 feet from the house, just right over the edge of the ridge over there.
Yeah.
They just went down there and
They'll do that. I
passed.
mean, they always say that they find a calm spot.
Yeah.
So under a house, shed, tree,
Yeah.
you know. But I had a dog they got whenever I was born. She lived to be 16. When I was 16, my aunt had to have her put to sleep because she had gotten cancer.
When you were 16?
When me and the dog were
So
both
you guys
16.
were the same age? So you grew up with this animal?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Well, so I had only grown up with her until I was like 6 or 7
Yeah.
on the farm because we moved to Northwest Arkansas from Central Arkansas. We didn't have a spot for her, so we left her on the farm with my aunt.
Right.
But
Probably
yeah,
a better place for it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where she
It's
lived.
where she
Yeah.
grew up, and she lived to be 16.
Yeah.
And she was a wonderful dog. She was one of those that didn't jump, she didn't bark, you know, just I remember, and there's still pictures of when I was a kid. She would lay under the kitchen table, and I'd crawl up under there and lay with her and fall asleep.
Yeah.
They said that I'd always take naps up under the kitchen table with her.
Yeah. It is hard. I had a cat named Butters for 15 years. It's the fattest cat I've ever seen. And I slept with him every night. He was my cuddle pillow. Like that was... And these neighbors moved in up the way, and their goddamn hunting dogs got loose. And came down here and killed the son of a bitch. That was about the most traumatizing day for the whole damn family. But
I could imagine.
well, I can't tell all that story on a podcast, but
Right.
let's just say I was not happy with those dogs, and
Yeah, I don't blame you.
but yeah, and then like it affects. I mean, it's
It really does. It
everything.
Yeah,
I mean-
because it's a pure love.
Yeah,
You know, like the love that you receive from them is a pure love. It's a
yeah.
connection.
Well, I loved stuffed animals as a kid. I was really connected to stuffed animals. I still have my dog and my bear from when actually Walter's got them now. But I don't know. It was comforting to me as a kid. It felt like
Yeah.
you know, you'd personified them. You gave them personalities and made them
Yep.
characters, right? And so you didn't feel alone.
Yeah.
And so an animal is like
Every time.
actually gives you back.
Yes.
You know,
I
unless they're cats, which are just fucking evil
I know.
creatures half the time.
they're
Well,
such
Butters wasn't.
assholes,
My
but
new
I
cats
love
are
them.
assholes.
They're a-holes, but you love it. Like it's a.
I'm over it.
Are you?
I'm over Joe.
Are they
He's a
really?
mewler. He's a spoiled fucking mewler. He'll have everything. He'll just mew, just loud as he can, until you drop what you're doing and go take care of his needs.
Go do exactly what he
Yeah.
wants. we have 5 farm cats. You know.
They're all outdoor.
They're indoor,
in
outdoor.
and out. Yeah.
Mhm. And we have one, and she has the most pathetic meow.
Mm.
And she meows the most.
Can you recreate this? Yeah, that's Joe.
It's
And
just
it's a
like,
long. It's
yes, just drawn out.
Yes.
And it's
like they're suffering.
yes, and it's like, oh my
I mean, you got water, you got food, you got access to outside, you got
Yes.
your litter's clean. Like,
you've
what
got
do you
scratch
need?
toys, you've got
Yeah.
toys, you've beds, comfy beds.
Oh, you just wanted me to pick you up and carry you to the couch because you didn't want to walk over here. That
Just
seemed to be-
ridiculous. We have sometimes our cats will sit at the door just to wait for us to open it, to look out, and decide they don't want to go out, and then they'll just walk away.
Yeah.
Okay.
we had 3 cats when we moved out here. So Julia had one, I had one, and then we found one somebody had dumped, which is a weird story because we were out at, you know where the steel bridge is out toward Greenland?
Yes.
There's an old steel bridge out there. And I was down there by myself one day. A lot of times I'd go out there, especially if I was having a bad day, take a guitar and just write, like sit down there and have a couple of brews and write some music. And I was walking down along the river, and I turn around, there's this kitten behind me. And it's kind of following me. I was like, oh my God, somebody dumped this kitten. Don't look at it.
don't make eye contact.
Don't look at it. And then I look back and there's 3. And it was one of those things, it was like something out of a damn movie. It's like every time I look back, there's just this,
more.
Next thing you know, there's this horde of cats. I was like, oh God, no. So I scooped as this thing was a runt. It was sickly. Its eyes were puffed shut. And I was like, I can't. And
right.
You know, my grandpa was a veterinarian, so had somebody I could take it to. So I scooped her up and took him over there and then called some people and said, hey, there's a bunch of fucking kittens out. I think we found homes for a lot of them.
You need a cat. They're, especially when you live out in the country, they're great mousers.
Oh, they're fantastic.
And moles and voles and, you know,
all that stuff.
Just, it's wonderful. Now, our cats are kind of a-holes because if a mouse does ever make it inside, it's almost like they're like, oh yeah, you made it inside too? Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if we had them in the house or the cats brought them in, but I found 2 heads this week and then a whole one. You know, because we leave the window open in there so they can just come in and out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're in here or I don't know what's going on. I don't ever see any activity, but yeah, they'll bring you treats if you don't.
If you're not careful. Oh, the amount of times that I've walked out and stepped on a dead bird.
Yeah.
You know, just.
Oh yeah. Or he today was scratching on the front door. I was trying to get ready for the podcast, so I open it, and he's got this giant bone that's still got like bits of flesh on it that he hauls over the door and brings in the house, and I'm just like, whatever. Who cares? You want your bone inside?
You're right. Doesn't even matter at this point.
I don't know. It takes me a long, because I had a dog die when I was a kid that I was real close to, hunt himself, and I just closed myself off to animals. I'm like, I'm not getting hurt like that again. You know? Yeah. And we moved out here. Well, I had my cat Butters. Like, I had him for 15 years. But same deal. When he died, it's like, I'm fucking done with all this.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So that's part of like the new cats. I'm like,
I don't want to.
The kids wanted them, and all their cats died because we lost Butters to the dogs. Julia's cat just disappeared, never came home. I assume coyotes got him or something. Yeah. And then the small one ended up getting bitten and got a fungal infection in her brain, and it made her start eating herself. So she would eat. She was eating holes. Yeah. She would eat holes into her skin, like it was like, and she'd also have like these panic freak attacks where she would just start spazzing out. And she cut one of the kids one time, and I was like, I was like, this is a danger. I had to put her down. And that was tough, you know.
Yeah, because they're family. You know, I mean, like they become one of the bunch.
Yeah. And those, you know, well, Max was 4 and Walt was 2 when we moved out here, and the cats died within a couple of years. Mm-hmm. And so we just kind of started over and got these 2 new ones. But then him and our old dog I was telling you about, we've had him for 10 years now, and so you can't help but love the old fella, you know.
Yeah. We so our cats, a feral had showed up and given birth in the loft of our shop one day.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, she had been around for a bit. I didn't know she was pregnant. But she wouldn't come to you. She'd meow and want food, but she wouldn't come around. She was very scared, very skittish. So finally she got to where she would come close enough to eat and you could pet her.
Yeah.
But you couldn't touch her. You know, like there was no picking her up. She gave birth to 4 kittens. And from that moment, I was hooked. I was hooked. I was like...
So those are the 5?
Well, no, there were 2 boys and 2 girls, and one of the males drove the other one off before we were able to get them fixed. And then we had moved up the road. Well, my cat had run away after we moved. She was gone for like 5 months. And so we had searched for her and couldn't find her. And so we all kind of wanted an extra kitten around the house. You know, like just hopefully something to make me feel better. Well, we found one and it just wasn't going to thrive. So we gave it back to the people who gave it to us so that it could be with its mom. It did end up thriving. It just needed its mother a little bit longer. Yeah. But we got a couple more. We got two. Actually, we got 3 more. And we have a Stinky Cheese, who's just a straight orange one. And then we have Whiskers, the meow. And she's gray. And then we had like a super fluffy calico. Like super fluffy. She was beautiful.
Like long-haired or just...
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, like hair probably close to his length.
No
Like
shit.
just long.
Hardly ever see a long-haired calico.
I know. But she, and bless her heart, she was dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, but just dumb.
Our dog that passed last year was that way. Dumb
Yeah.
as hell.
And she got by something and shattered her back leg. And so she was gone for 3 days, and she came home, and they couldn't save it, so we had to have her back leg amputated. And then the next summer, we're pretty sure she got bob tick fever.
What?
Bob tick fever?
What's Bob? I don't know.
Or bobcat tick fever.
What is that?
So it's like a tick that bites a bobcat and then gets on your cat. It passes a virus where it'll thicken their blood.
No shit?
And it makes it almost impossible for it to pass through their heart, like for their heart to pump
Yo.
it. Yeah.
There's some fucked up shit that can kill us out there.
Yeah, like we pay an insane amount for flea and tick medicine for cats.
Yeah.
Just because there's only one that has the serum to halfway prevent bobcat fever. But flea and tick medication's so expensive.
It is. It is. But you gotta do it.
Yep.
I will say that, having chickens, man, there are no ticks anywhere around the house.
Do y'all have chickens?
Oh,
I know you have ducks.
She's got 20 something birds, and it's spring, so there's probably, I'm sure, gonna be 40 fucking more. You familiar with chicken math?
No,
It's a thing. It's a country thing. It's like, well, you can only buy, like, you can't just buy one bird. Like, you have to buy so many, right?
Right.
And so, if you lose a bird, you can't just replace it 1-to-1. So, anyway, there just end up being a lot of birds. And we haven't lost a lot with the new white dogs. Before that, Hemmett's old and Ramona was dumb and super fat and lazy. And so we were having some birds die. And when Ramona passed, we got the white dogs before she passed. It's like we just need something productive around here. These old lazy bastards.
That's too funny.
But the chickens keep all that stuff away. Even we've got a catalpa tree out here. There's catalpa worms. They'll just eat those things raw.
Oh, I bet.
Eat the leaves down to nothing. If you go out there with a broom and just start hitting that tree, those chickens just gorge on those things.
Really?
So, yeah, when they start showing up, you can just start knocking them off the branches and they'll
I bet that is
go
cool
to
to
town.
watch.
But yeah, chickens are good for that. But you go out in the woods, though, and you come out and you're just covered. Because they don't forage out in there.
Yeah, I don't like chickens.
Do you not?
No, I don't. I don't.
Were you traumatized by a chicken at a young age, or what happened there?
No. And funny enough, I grew up on a
Assaulted
bird
by
farm.
Rooster? They're rapey birds, man. Ducks especially.
No, I've never had like a negative encounter with a bird. I did work in a bird farm once.
Oh, that could
An
do
egg
it.
farm, yeah. Ugh.
Gotta do it right there.
But so whenever we lived in central Arkansas, I grew up on an emu ostrich farm.
No shit. Those eggs are so big.
Oh my gosh, they're
Nuts.
massive.
Yeah.
And even for years after the birds were gone, we were still finding old eggs out there. My aunt was some of the last ones she found. She turned them into art.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, she
'Cause they're
painted on
neat.
canvases.
Yeah?
And so, yeah. Yeah, I grew up on, it was a breeding,
It was?
yeah, it was a breeding farm.
There were some out on the corner of Goose Creek and Highland Church a long time ago, and then Prairie Grove used to have ostriches a long time ago.
On Highway 62.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep, remember that?
Yes, I do.
When did you move up here from Central Arkansas?
97?
Okay. So you've been here long enough to see it go to shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been here long enough to watch it go from the place that I
Good town
loved and
America.
to there's just so many transplants, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying that all transplants are bad. I'm just saying that don't move here and then complain because it's not like where you moved from.
Not all transplants are douchebags, but just stay away just in case.
Yeah,
Just
basically.
don't come here.
If I see that your license plate is not from Arkansas, I'm watching out. Okay?
And then they bring their families too. I hear
Oh,
this all
yeah.
the time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we loved it here, and so now all our cousins and uncles,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't drive out in the country anymore without just subdivision.
I know.
Storage facility. Storage facilities drive me nuts.
They're
We're so
everywhere.
fucking like American that we have too much shit that we don't have room for, so we keep it in a place
And never mess with it.
and never mess with it. Just get rid of it. Like, if you need a storage place, get rid of it.
Yes. You know, like, I get it. You're moving. You don't have enough room for something right off the bat. You know, like,
Sure.
you need to place it for a couple months, whatever.
Yeah.
But now, I will say, I do guess I understand if people are putting, like, their family stuff in, like, their family heirloom type stuff, you know, like, maybe stuff that they've inherited from their childhood.
Yeah.
That they, keepsakes.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, but I had a customer the other day who was upset because their storage unit had gotten broke into.
Yeah.
Somebody had come and cut the locks off,
Yo.
broke into their storage unit, took out $15,000 worth of tools, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what all they took. And then the storage unit turned around and put a new lock back on it without contacting the people who own the storage unit.
Wow.
Like the people who were running it. Like, there was that one in Prairie Grove where they cut into the door and were stealing people's stuff and nobody ever
Really?
got caught. There were no cameras out there.
Jesus Christ, man.
There were no cameras. How are you going to have a storage unit?
The average homeowner has cameras now. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, most people's houses are,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
But I'll tell you, I'm guilty of it. That shed out there used to be efficient. You walk in it, and I had racks and shit, and now it's become just storage. It's shit that just needs to get throw away. Like,
stuff you need to go through.
it's
and
like, I'll
find.
put this out here until I find a place for it. You're never gonna find a place for it, you dumb motherfucker, and you know it. Get rid of it.
That's me. I have
I have to be so
junk
hard on
drawers.
myself sometimes, but it's necessary.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad about that. I'm not so much a collector. I'm just a collector. You know, like, and I'm not like a collector of anything important. I'm just a collector of crap.
Me too.
And I am like that. Like, if I don't know what to do with it, I'll store it.
Right.
And then I'll go back and
But
I'll
it's
be
not like anything of value.
yeah, and
Like,
then I'll be going through it. And I'm like, why is this in here?
But you know, I don't know, I find collections fun. It's like something to look
Oh,
forward
yeah.
to, like, you know, like the bald eagle thing, man. I was just having so much fun going to flea markets. And it was like hunting. It was like fucking eagle wings.
Right,
You know, and
yeah.
you find a really good piece, and you know, I don't know, stuff like that, or
Yeah.
you know, it's fun. It's but yeah, it's not a good investment. You're just throwing money away on shit. But dude, whatever makes you happy.
I was gonna say those are
You only
memories.
live once.
Yeah.
And me and the kids had a ton of fun doing that stuff together
Right.
too. Like they'd be, Dad, come check this out.
Yeah, because you said y'all go to antique shops and whatnot.
No, we'll go to anything. Yeah. Flea markets, antique stores, yard sales.
Yeah.
Whatever. We went out to Prairie Grove last week. We hadn't been there in forever because if you just wait 3-4 months at one of those places, the inventory changes completely over.
Yep. Yep.
And so you can go back just a few months later. You never know what you can find.
I used to live close to downtown Prairie Grove, and every other weekend I'd be down there. It'd just give me something to do, just to go walk through the shops, whether I bought anything or not. And I find the coolest little things.
Stuff you didn't know you needed or wanted.
Yes.
Until you see it. And then
yes.
It's
It's like, I gotta have that.
Yeah.
Like, that's, yeah.
My wife and I used to go flea marketing a lot, especially before we had kids. And I found this. It was it was just a typical Switch pocket knife, like this pull-out pocket knife, but it was this big and had Elvis on it. I was like, God, that is ridiculous. I've got to have that.
I've got to have it.
And she was like, you're going to buy that thing? I was like, yes. Like, why would anyone have this? She's like, exactly. I'm like, I've got to have it. It was $15. So anyway, she's like, I can't believe you're going to exchange $15 of American currency for that knife. So I go home. My cousin Austin comes out, and I'm showing them this knife. And I'm like, check this out. He's like, oh, my God. What did you pay for this? And I go, $15. He goes, that's it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whatever it's worth to you.
Yeah. And it's a funny story. It's a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have a...
I still have it. It's in my office.
Really?
I need to bring that back over here.
That's too funny. I bought a lamp for my friend one time. It's just this old... I don't even know how... It's old. It's got like the cracked glass looking. Like
yeah.
Those
are cool.
Yeah, she loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it fit with her little theme. Her husband now hates it.
Really?
And she refuses to get rid of it.
Yeah.
She's
Why
had
does he hate it?
I think just because it doesn't match. It's grandma-ish. She loves it.
Yeah.
She sends me pictures every once in a while of where she's placed it.
Yeah.
Just...
I get most of my clothes from flea markets too.
Oh yeah.
Like shirts anyway, like flannels and.
Yep.
Or Cheap Thrills. Cheap Thrills is great.
I was really bad about getting shirts off Temu for $5.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a Temu shopper.
I was. It was bad. I've quit.
Have you?
I've
Is this stuff really shit? I've heard it's trash, but
you have to read reviews.
Yeah.
Like with everything.
It's probably gonna be a mixed bag of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Read reviews. It's coming from a different country, so clothes size are smaller. Other countries are not obese like us, so
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
have
true.
to size up.
Yeah.
And but really, I didn't try to buy anything of value, really. Like they had 50 magic erase markers, the cheap kind, for like 98 cents one day. I got 50 magic erase markers for 98 cents.
Jesus Christ. And what are you doing with those?
Oh, I've used them.
You did use them?
Yeah.
Oh. So you didn't just
Yeah.
buy them and never use them. You actually...
No, I bought them to use them.
Oh, nice.
And then I bought like a little spinny scrub brush, like an electronic one. I don't like scrubs on it. So, you read the reviews.
Okay.
So, I made that mistake with Wish.
Which Wish?
Wish was the original Temu. It first came out.
I don't know that I ever knew of a Wish.
Oh my gosh. Wish was the big thing. It was all straight from China.
Yeah.
But it was just cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap like Temu, but you never got what you ordered. Like you would order what you would think would be like a normal wooden spatula. Oh no, it'd come in this size. Like you would think that
Some
you were
deceptive marketing
yeah,
practices.
you would
there.
think you could get a coffee mug, it'd come in and be like this big,
Jesus.
you know, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it stuck around very long because of the fact that it was just BS.
So did Timu buy it, or is it a totally different thing?
I have no idea.
Mm.
There's no telling. Yeah, that's above my pay grade.
My kids love the flea markets too. They love going because they always find treasures, but they also can't save money. So it's
Yeah.
like, if you go, how much do you have in your bank account? $60. If you go, you're gonna have $0 when you get
Right.
back.
Yep.
And I ain't buying you shit. So
Right.
anything you get, you're paying for.
Right.
You know.
You better only take a certain amount with you. If
So
you're
I tell them, if you want to buy something, like I'm here with a goal. Like I'm here looking for bald eagles.
Yeah.
Right? If I see something outside of that, you know, I might consider it. But you guys aren't here with a purpose.
Yeah.
So go all the way through the store first.
Yep.
And then if you remember something that you know really strikes
Mm-hmm.
you, go back and get it. But like Theo just having 2 arms full of shit. Well, you can't even afford all that. And he's like, I'm gonna just get all of it and then decide. You know, I'm like, no, let's not. Because those booths have, like, the stuff's tied to that booth, right? And
Yeah.
so now it's like, I don't even know, where did all this shit come from? We gotta
right.
put
Where'd
away.
you get it from?
And then he ordered this knife on eBay, and I'm like, you know, it's your money, whatever. And then he's like, where's my knife? It's been like a week. I'm like, you ordered from somebody with a 90% seller rating, dude.
Right.
We gotta talk about this. He's like, 90's pretty good. I'm like, not really. I mean, if you think about it, that's, you know, 1 in 10 transactions is not good.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people with 100.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you don't have better options.
And I need to figure out how to be able to tell who's delivering my package. Like whenever I order off of Amazon, like if it's going to be Amazon delivering it, UPS, FedEx, USPS.
What's going on with that? Is it the infrastructure around here? There's just so many people now that it's just...
I have no idea.
We haven't-
USPS made me aggravated. Because Sunday, they were supposed to drop off a package.
That was very anticlimactic. USPS made me aggravated.
Yeah. It's trying to... I would say pissed, but no, I wasn't pissed. It just...
Aggravated.
Aggravating. Because I was sitting in my garage Sunday, and I heard it was just like a quick beep. And I was like, okay, I thought maybe, you know, Brennan was getting ready for work and he was messing with the car and accidentally hit the lock, and so it had just beeped. Well, Rambo's out in the front yard just running around. Yeah, that's my dog's name, Rambo. And he didn't alert to me that anybody was
I wish
even...
it was one of your kids.
I know, right? He didn't alert that anybody was even in the yard. He didn't bark,
Really?
nothing. And so, like, I got up because I heard the gravel move, and I was like, that's weird.
Right.
And I see this car backing out, and this whole thing took maybe 30 seconds. You know, like she had pulled in, tooted the horn, did not open the car door, did not yell out the window, did not even like lay into the horn.
Mm-hmm.
No. 30 seconds in, toot, out, gone. And then I had to go pick up the package in Prairie Grove
Why couldn't they leave it on the damn doorstep?
dog loose.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
And I'm like, you
that
didn't
does get
even...
tricky when you're out in the country. I'll go to some houses out here, and there's like, those dogs are fucking intimidating. I get it.
So I will say...
But still, man, lay on the horn. Fucking
Yeah.
do something.
And my dog does have crazy eyes.
See, crazy-eyed dogs.
He's got like the raccoon mask, you know,
My
like...
white dogs intimidate people, and I like it. I know
Yeah.
they're good dogs, but they want to know you're not a threat.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they come right up to you and sniffing, and as long as you're cool, man, they're cool.
Oh, yeah.
But they'll
Yeah,
alert
you had
me anytime somebody sees. That's how I know how people are here.
the big fluffy one. He wasn't real
Nana.
sure about me at
Yeah.
first. And then just fine. I
They
let him
check you
smell my
out.
hand.
It's like, yeah,
And then I sweet talked them, and they were just
it's
fine.
better than security.
Yeah.
Like they're just there to make
Oh,
sure.
those Great Pyrenees are amazing.
And they
security
recognize
dogs.
cars. Like
They've
when
got
certain people come over, like they just don't alert you. But when it's a new car,
Yeah, they let
they
you know
do.
that
Yeah.
it's.
Like they don't bark when my wife comes home, or I did come home, right?
Right.
Obviously, but like
Yeah,
Stillwell's coming over, they don't bark at him.
yeah.
You know, my
People
parents,
who used to.
yeah, people who
That's
are
pretty
over
cool.
regular. It's interesting how smart they are like that.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, our dog is. I mean, even our dog. If he doesn't know you and you're walking down the road, he'll be like, hey, 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 here I am, here I am. You know, like
Yeah.
you can just see him just hey, hey. But our neighbors or people who live close, he doesn't ever pay him any attention.
Really?
You know, like our landlord lives kind of up behind us. She comes down to check her mail and he doesn't bother,
Yeah.
which is fine, you know, thankfully. I'm glad. We keep him on a shock collar though, like
That's got like a radius, right? So if they get to
Yep.
a certain point, it buzzes them a little bit.
yeah, and he's
Can you set the intensity on those?
yes, you can.
So you could be a real dick about
You
it.
you could.
Man.
If your dog is not smart, you know, like sometimes you need to be a real dick about it.
Sometimes you have to.
Our dog is really smart, so once he hears the beep, he doesn't want any
Hey, it's
part
better
of
than
it.
being on a damn chain.
I don't.
That's just unethical. I
Oh
I
my
hate
god,
seeing
it's
that.
horrible. It is horrible. I feel so bad.
Even runners, like I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I just, especially when they're dogs that are like need to be out and running
Yeah.
and working and
That's why I never liked having a dog when I lived in town. I was like, I don't feel right about dogs living in small yards, like big dogs in small spaces.
yeah, it's just
Like it just feels wrong.
it's
I guess
really
it depends on
weird
the
to
dog's
think about.
personality, But
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is true. If you have a dog who's a
like-
homebody and doesn't
like
wanna,
a husky or a Great Pyrenees, they need open space.
Yeah, they've gotta
You know,
have
you're
that.
not gonna have those in an apartment.
hmm And those are working dogs too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Little dogs like these, that's what they're made for, right? Like
Yeah.
Those were designed as foot warmers for Chinese emperors.
yep. That specific breed were?
Mhm, Shih Tzus, yeah.
Really?
And that's exactly where they sleep. He
Your
sleeps on
feet?
Julia's feet every night. Always. And when he sleeps with the boys, because she works, well, she works nights, but so like when, she usually gets up, she's got to get up like anywhere between 1 or 4 a.m. right to go. So she sleeps. And then when she leaves,
Mhm.
like he'll either go sleep on the boys' feet or my feet.
Oh.
But he won't sleep up next to you like,
Right,
most
by your
dogs.
head,
Like
nothing,
he
yeah.
always sleeps on the feet.
That's awesome.
And he's awesome having it in the house because when the big dogs start barking, well, it's not always so awesome because if they're after a coon or something, and I know it's an outside predator, he
They
wants it
alert
on the
him.
action.
Yeah.
So I got to let him out, like just go out there.
Because
I'm
he
not
can
gonna
tell
have
the difference in the barks too, can he?
He can, but he wants to be out in the action. It's like you know what I mean?
Like the little
And
sibling.
so if I just there's nothing to do about it.
Yeah.
You can't sleep. Nobody in the house can sleep.
Right. You gotta.
You know, and like moving out in the country is so weird because I grew up in the country and then moved to town for a long time, and then moving back out here was, I hadn't lived in the country since I was like 10.
Right. So there's a
So,
culture shock.
It was 20 years going back out to it. Just the noises are different.
Yeah.
There's so much ambient noise in town that covers up a lot of stuff, but you also don't hear gunfire all the time. Like we've had parents come out to birthday parties and stuff, and someone will be shooting up the hill or something, and the parents freak out because they've never heard gunfire.
Really?
Yeah. Like, oh my God. I had a mom freak out one time. Oh my God, they're shot. What's going on? I'm like, man, somebody's shooting target over there. It's probably it's Saturday. It's going to sound like World War III out here for a little bit. Thankfully, everybody's respectful and they don't go all day long.
Right.
You go out there for 30 minutes. Somebody will pop off. And
Yeah.
what's not, a lot of times you'll hear like somebody does it and then somebody else is like, well, if they're doing it, I'll just go do it while they're doing it.
While they're doing
It's
it.
like an unspoken code of conduct.
Like mowing your
You
yard.
don't. Sure.
Like he's mowing his yard, I'm gonna mow my yard.
I don't know. I can't see anybody else's yard up here, so
I guess that's
schedule it.
true. We have neighbors back behind us, and he shoots off tannerite all the time. I mean,
I
you'll
need
just
to
be...
I need to talk to this dude.
Oh, yeah. Comes through the gas station all the time.
Oh, does he?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But,
Get me in touch. Hey, actually, while I'm thinking about it, I got to, I gave away all my business cards.
Oh, yeah, I need
didn't
some
think I'd
more.
ever friggin' use them, really, and now I'm like, I'm going to have to order more. But, like,
Awesome. Yeah.
take some with you.
Awesome. I'm going to put some more
I'm
up
gonna
at
put
the
some
gas
in your
station.
wallet. Yeah.
There. Yeah. Oh, man.
So, I think if Dave ends up writing something, I figure we could probably find some people to put something together to film it. Wouldn't you think? Around
Oh,
here?
yeah, I think we could. I'm sure. I mean, there's all types
Shit,
of
even
people.
if you did it on iPhones look fucking phenomenal.
I know, yeah, the camera on my iPhone is insane. And
Shit, that's how a lot of these people, like Shane, golly, man, damn, sorry. I'm like gassy today. I'm like,
I've got acid reflux
Yeah.
like crazy today.
I think it's because I haven't had enough beer. I'll fix that quick.
Fix that real quick.
I'll drink this problem away in a heartbeat, like I do all the other ones.
Right.
Get that
Therapist
on a
who?
t-shirt. Can't fix it, drink it.
Drink it. Yeah. Oh, man.
But no, I think it'd be, it'd be a fun project. You know, how many people get the opportunity to film an episode of something? You know, because like who fucking writes
Yeah.
that kind of shit? You know?
Yeah.
I've got friends that are. Well, I've had. Hal Henson wrote his book, which is more of a meditative kind of thing. But then my buddy Ty has a fantasy series out that's published.
Really?
Oh yeah, he came on the show. I'm gonna read the book and then have him back on and talk
Yeah.
about like how he wrote some of the stuff. It was a great episode. Ty Carlson.
Okay.
I don't remember what episode it was, but it was really cool. And just hearing about his process and how he writes. And my buddy Drew's an author too. He I don't know that he's really stuck with anything long enough to finish it, but he comes up with a lot of
Right.
ideas and writes short things and ideas for longer things. But that's an art form that I have a ton of respect for.
I was going to say it takes a special type of brain to be able
Yeah,
to
like songwriting is
do
4
that.
minutes and you're done. Like you don't have to commit to something.
right.
It's quick in and out. A novel, you got to be committed to these characters and the story and ups and downs and like just the
Yeah.
amount of time. I don't know. If you're recording an album, it takes a lot of time, but it's always doing something. There's something different always, from the writing
Right.
phase to the arrangement to the tracking it. The novel is just the same thing. You're just writing. It seems
You're just writing.
very tedious to me.
Yeah, I'm not.
But if that's your jam and you love telling stories, then it's probably awesome because you get to create a world to
Because
live
then you
in.
can, yeah, and you can,
And people who have that level of, it's so interesting because some people are not artistic at all. Some people are more mechanical,
yep,
Like I have zero mechanical inclination whatsoever.
Yeah.
And my dad is pure machine. Like that dude can fix anything.
that whole
know.
generation.
And part of that is because they had to,
Yep,
you know.
it's that whole generation.
Yeah.
My dad can fix everything, I swear.
He couldn't afford to hire people.
Yeah, like
had
you
to
just
do
had
it.
to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, anytime anything breaks at the house, Dad,
I call my dad all the time. Yeah, I did.
yeah,
But when it comes to like songwriting, I fucking know that shit. I can do it.
yeah,
But even artists, like the artist brain, just because you're good at one thing doesn't make you great at another. You know?
created another.
I don't understand visual art, like painting. I don't get any of it.
Right. I
So,
am.
I guess I respect it, but some of
Right.
that stuff is trash.
I'm not. I can't create art. I can enjoy your art. Like I can. Like I can get into your music. Like
Yeah, you
break
can
down-
appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like I'm not a
myself-
filmmaker, but I can appreciate a good scene.
Yes.
You know,
and
that was powerful. The way they shot this stood
yes,
out.
all the work
I
that
don't know
goes
what the
into
fuck
it.
I'm talking about, but I know what I like.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
yeah, how it's pulled off, sure.
And so I love music. I couldn't write to save my life.
You ever tried that?
No, I
See, a lot of people just don't ever try a thing and just assume.
see. Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to begin either.
Learning an instrument.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to play anything?
So when I was little, I learned to play the piano, but not for very long. For
Yeah?
about a year or two, I did like little recitals, but I was young. You know, like I was like 8, 9, 10 ish. So I can still fiddle around with the piano.
So you're pretty good?
No.
You
Yeah,
playing?
I'm total rock star.
Well, how good are you? Can you play?
No, I can play the beginner's version of My Heart Will Go On for the Titanic.
Yeah?
Ding, 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 ding.
All right. So, beginner.
Beginner, yes.
You enjoy it?
Yeah. I'm also... I pick things up and set them down fairly fast. You know, like...
Whitey.
Yeah,
Into this, not into this.
I'm into this, and then I get bored. And it's
Yeah.
not even really boredom, it's just I lose interest, I guess. So that's kind of my big issue, is I lose interest really fast.
Well, that's part of like going back to like say mechanical versus artistic, right? Some of it is the area you grew up in.
Right.
Some of it is what you're interested in.
Right.
If you're interested in mechanical things and how things work, like my youngest son is 10 times better than
Yeah.
I am at fixing shit, because he's taking it apart, he's figuring out how it works.
Yeah.
I never gave a shit how it worked. I just wanted it to work. You know.
Same.
Whereas my dad was the same way. So a lot of that is just like what you're interested in. Obviously, you will pursue that skill set, or that skill set
Right.
will evolve because of what you're putting your interest into.
Right.
You know, I didn't just get good at songwriting. I poured hours and hours and hours and hours of time into it, and touring and playing and, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I got good at it. But
See, I don't know that I've ever found something that I love that much.
well, that's where I was going with this. Like, do you have like something that just you really like? This is your thing.
No, I don't. I
Like
just
crochet.
no, but I can crochet.
Can you? That's a
I
lost art.
I picked it up. It was one of
Did you
those.
really?
Yeah, it was one of those. I can also make dream catchers.
Can you really?
Yeah, I taught myself how to do it one time. I have all the supplies. I can weave it and all that. It's
What
I
else?
learned
What other hidden
things.
talent? We got dream catchers.
dream catcher.
What was the first one? You said you can crochet.
Yeah, crochet.
You can
and
weave
dream catchers.
baskets.
No,
No basket weaving.
no, and I can't draw. I'm not.
What's It was cross stitch, the one where they'd have like the plastic deal and then
The
you pull
knitting?
The yarn. You see that Oscar up there?
Where am I looking?
Right to the top of the refrigerator.
Maybe I need glasses.
Can you see that part?
Oh yes, now I see
Is
it.
that cross stitch?
I don't know. Oops, sorry.
Whatever that is, there was a lot of that shit in the 80s.
What is
It's
that?
yarn.
Yes,
It's pulled through like it's got like a plastic backing.
yes. What do they call that?
Is it not cross stitch?
It may be. I have no idea.
Whatever the fuck that is a
It's
lost
cool.
art. I want to find a bald eagle in that style.
Oh yes. I bet Amazon's got it.
That'd be more like an Etsy thing, probably.
Possibly. They were
I have not seen a lot of manufactured cross stitch. I'm gonna look that up.
even a couple years at school. They were doing that in Prairie Grove, because Michaela came home.
Like in
with
school,
one.
like in what is that? Like home ec kind of a class or something?
Yeah.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, crochet. Talk me through crocheting. What is that process?
So, crocheting is one needle. You know, like it's just one needle, one thing. You just loop and pull, and I don't know how to explain it. It's
Right.
just it's a movement. I'm not a teacher.
How did you pick that up?
My mom.
So she did it, and then what? Y'all just hang out and
She
crochet
just
together?
she had crocheted my whole life. She knits and whatnot, and so it's just something that I had picked up. You know. So he did tell you.
Yep.
He probably told you faster than I found it.
I don't know. So Taylor and I were looking at this picture of Oscar. My mom latch hooked for me when I was a baby. I don't have memory without the thing. Like it was just always,
Right.
it existed, and I still have the thing.
That's awesome.
He was my favorite character growing up, man. I loved Oscar. I was
Oscar
identified
the
with
Grouch.
Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's charm in being an asshole. Like
Yeah, there kind of is.
he didn't put up with people's shit.
He didn't, and
Oscar for president, dude.
yeah, and whenever he was done, he was just done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like he'd just dip out.
So anyway, we couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was cross stitch, and so I took a picture of it and I uploaded it to Grok, and I said, "What art form is this?" And it came back latch hook, and with a whole paragraph of how it got started and all the history of it and everything.
All the info about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's so wild.
Welcome
isn't
to
it?
the future.
Isn't it weird?
Did I hit record? Yeah.
Just insane. I don't.
And my son's using it to create like artwork for his band. Like it's
Oh
He's-
yeah, I could. Man, I don't know. I hadn't even really used it, and I was just tinkering around with it the other day. Well, you scroll through Facebook and you see all these AI photos and videos, and and you're like, what is going on?
sounds like a goddamn bird orgy out here. Jesus Christ. It still sounds like a bird orgy. Those ducks rape.
Do
You
they?
ever seen ducks
No,
have-
not really.
intercourse?
Oh, it's bad, huh?
The male bites the woman's neck, holds it underwater, and then just corkscrews the bitch.
What?
Hardcore. Oh yeah, I remember seeing this for like when she first got ducks. Like
Yeah.
chickens. The rooster will just get up there and mount up, and she looks disinterested, like she wants to be somewhere else, which makes birds
Right.
really relatable.
Right.
It was latch hook, and then we've been talking for 10 minutes off camera about how I know her brother
Yeah.
and have known him for some time, probably
Yeah.
10 years,
Really? Okay. I mean,
something like that.
there's only 3 of us
Maybe
out
I don't know.
here.
Yeah. Well, it's just such a small world,
It is.
and
It is. And they're good people. And so,
Oh
you
yeah,
know, like,
100%.
and a lot-
They
and
their kids are very well mannered, very respectful kids.
Mhm.
Like I've always been impressed by.
yeah. And they get out and do, both of my brothers, them and their families both get out and do quite a
Mhm.
bit. I'm more of I don't get out and do a whole lot, but they.
Yeah, you can do so much in one place. Like
Right.
I'm the same. Like my interests can be done within here.
Yep.
I'm playing music, watching movies. Like those are my kind of things. I don't like being out in the world.
That's kind of how I am too. Like,
Yeah.
I prefer
Oh, you need
be home.
to go to Yellowstone and go to fucking Grand Canyon. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the Grand. I can see it on YouTube. Like
Yep.
that's not my jam.
Right.
Doesn't impress me. Saw the Coliseum. That was cool. I was like, there's a Coliseum.
Right.
Just
I
yeah, it was a
haven't
piece of
ever-
history. I get it, but like I'm more interested in like the knowledge and lore of history.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
fucking truth.
Yeah.
The Anunnaki.
Yeah. The stuff they don't want us to know.
Well, dude, it makes so much sense that there was a race of beings here that were much larger than us, and
Oh,
that pretended to be
absolutely.
gods and were worshipped because they didn't want to do any of the work. So they just enslaved humanity to bring them food and gifts, and they would appear to be gods if they're from somewhere else, right? So why do you have so many different cultures with so many similar kind of god stories? Like, why do you have pyramids all over all over the continents?
Yeah,
every
who do you
continent's
think
got
built
pyramids,
those?
but they couldn't speak to each other. Like, something was going on, man.
Yep.
There's just too much circumstantial evidence to say there wasn't.
Yeah.
And hey,
Man, that whole thing's wild, too. Just to even think about the pyramids being built.
sure, but not trying to piss off you evangelicals out there, but the Bible doesn't cover everything. And it's also been written by many different translators and people and canonized by different churches and now is interpreted in 50 different ways. Like, you know, is it a reliable document? Sure, in a lot of ways, but...
It was turned into a tool at some point.
Well, it also had an agenda.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to cover...
the masses.
Yeah.
You know,
well, in video games now, religion is... I mean, look at... I'll call it wokeism, is a religion. And it was, you know, it's Marxist teachings in colleges that infects the mind, and it is a religion. They worship this thing.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe it, you're a heretic and you should burn. The only people that want to kill another side are ideologues. And Christians have done atrocities since day one. Right? Probably more atrocities than any other group.
Right. I mean, I won't say that.
That's not saying
but
anything about Christianity. I consider myself a Christian, but I don't. I'm not so arrogant as to think I know everything. Like, I don't think that. I think there's things we don't know. And
I think there's things that we're not ever gonna have the answer for. Really, you know, like there's some things that I don't think we're just like the pyramids. How were the pyramids? I don't think we're ever gonna figure that out.
Well, so energy can't be created or destroyed, right? It has to be transformed. So if the electricity in your brain when you die, if that is energy, would it not? And I might sound like a complete retard to a lot of people because I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it would make sense to me that energy would transfer to something else. Could that something else be a higher dimension? So
Absolutely.
Like, one-dimensional is a line, just a straight line. There's only forward, back. Two-dimensional, you now have vertical, so you have an infinite number of one-dimensional lines going two ways. Now you have two dimensions where you have, so then in three dimensions you have now width. So you have length, height, width. Yeah. Right? But how would a two-dimensional being view a three-dimensional object? Like a sphere. They'd view it as a circle. Right. And that circle, as it got closer, would get bigger, and it would recede. Right. But it would appear to be just a circle. To them, it wouldn't appear to be getting closer or farther because they only have two dimensions. It would just appear to be growing. Right. As it actually got closer, it would get bigger. Right. And as it receded, it would get smaller. But they would just see it getting, right? Yes. So we can't even perceive really what it's like to be in a two-dimensional form or a one-dimensional form. I think what happens is your energy transcends to the next dimension. And then from that dimension, you can see clearly into the third dimension.
That's interesting.
It's a theory.
That's really interesting to think about.
I don't think you go to a fiery pit, and I don't think you go to a place with all your relatives, all the divorced ones who hate each other and have baggage, and you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's not what I think happens. I don't think you're ever in this form again.
No, and I think, I don't know. As far as heaven and hell, I believe it's your own personal